Welcome back, everyone. So following up on my last video, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm new to the Bleach community, and I wanted to kick things off with my favorite character in the entire show, and that's going to be Kaname Tosen. I mentioned in my last video that Kaname's design is what caught me like from the jump. I, being a black male watching anime, you don't see a lot of characters that look like us in the show, or yet alone anime in general. So when these authors, these artists get it right, man, do they get it right. And with Kaname Tosen, like just his design alone, he is probably one of the most well-crafted, well-designed characters in anime. Like as far as like black, dark skin tone characters, Kaname is just immaculately drawn. I mean, even like his Soul Society look, his Wako Mundo look, even when he had like his resurrection, everything just looks incredible. All the way up into his final resurrection. I think it's when he turns into like Susumushi. I don't know. I guess it's like themed after his Bankai. I don't quite like that version of him, but I think that was done on purpose just to kind of show how depraved and how far he's fallen. But Kaname as a whole, like I just felt like I wanted more from him. I almost felt like, gosh, so cool in design. The character had potential, but like I don't think it's Kubo's fault that his character was the way, like he was just a flawed character. So I wanted to kind of discuss Kaname a little bit more, my thoughts and opinions, and to see if I'm the only one that feels this way, and hopefully you guys can let me know how you guys feel about Kaname. So just, yeah, let's get comfortable, dive in, and let's get into Kaname Tosen. So Kaname is a Soul Reaper. We're introduced to him. He's a captain of Squad 9. His lieutenant is Shuhei Hisagi, and essentially he is on the side of justice. So when Ichigo and the crew come in to Soul Society, obviously they're trying to save Rukia, and the captains are kind of split up into two factions. One side is to help Rukia, the other side is to uphold justice, and Kaname is shown to be just the side of justice. Like he's like, hey, we have rules to follow, we need to follow the law. You get a sense that he is definitely a no nonsense character. He is definitely not the type to be swayed. Like once he has his mindset on something, he's not changing. And we get a really cool scene. If anyone remembers it, it's about 20 to 30 seconds. It's right after Uryu curb stomps Mayuri Kuretsuchi. Obviously, like I think that's the first time we get to see Ryu's Lech Steel. Obviously he completely bodies Mayuri, but he's like walking up those steps, which, mind you, I feel like those steps are like really long, because Uryu was like walking up them like half the episode, and so he finally gets to the top, and Uryu's like, he's exhausted, and he's like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I saved Rukia before Ichigo? And then you just see Kaname standing there menacingly, and I think in 2 seconds he just says, cry Susumushi, and it lets go of like this like pulse, like this sound pulse, and it knocks them out. And what's funny is we never see that again. We never see that ability again. We see like some glimpses of like sound vibration type attacks, but not that one. And I don't know if that one works on characters with like lower spiritual pressure, like, because Aizen made it pretty clear that certain abilities, if you have more spiritual pressure, like they tend to work better or they nullify. So that was a really cool ability that we see. But yeah, we get him, and I just remember thinking, oh my god, like this dude's design is sick. He has dreads, he's blind, he had that really cool orange scarf, and like he just looked really cool. And his sword has that really cool circular design at the handle. Just really chef's kiss, you know what I'm saying? And the next time we get to see Kaname, we literally, his next fight is with Kenpachi of all people. And he goes back and forth with Kenpachi, and you can tell like there's a difference in ideals, right? And he basically feels like Kenpachi's way of doing things is like bloodshed, it's violence, it's like senseless violence, right? And for him, and he says this multiple times throughout the series, you know, killing without a purpose is mindless bloodshed, but killing with a purpose is justice. And so you could tell that that's where he gets his foundation, his moral compass, right? And we also learn through his fight with Kenpachi how people can become captains. And one way is to get recommended from other captains. Obviously, you must learn Bankai. And then the other one is the way that Kenpachi did it, and that's by killing the previous captain. I want to say that last part is specific to Squad 11 and not all the squads. But let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I just feel like that's just kind of like a Squad 11 thing. And we get some really cool lore there. And then we also get to see his Bankai, which his Bankai, especially if you guys play Bleach Rebirth of Souls, it's a new game that came out back in March. Play it, it's fire. His Bankai actually shuts down all the senses. So taste, smell, oh my gosh, why am I losing all my senses? Basically you lose everything except for feeling. So the Bankai is kind of sadistic in a way. Of course you lose all your senses for touch, but it's also a double-edged sword. So if you are fighting an opponent who, like Kenpachi, who enjoys pain or has enough reaction time, they can react to his attacks. But typically if you're going against a normal opponent that isn't Kenpachi, this Bankai is incredibly powerful and incredibly broken. Why they decided to debut it against Kenpachi, I will never understand, and why we only got to see his Bankai technically once. We did see it a second time in the Turn Back the Pendulum arc, because I believe he used that against the Soul Reapers before was it Shinji and them got there. But yeah, we don't actually get to see it in like another fight one-on-one. And I was really disappointed with that fight because Kaname was kind of shaping up to be like my favorite character. Like, oh my gosh, I hope we get to see more of this guy. And he didn't get bodied by Kenpachi, but he got bodied by him. And we don't really see much of Kaname until the big Aizen reveal. Aizen, obviously, like that reveal shook. That's one of the biggest like reveals in anime history. And it turns out that he's actually been working with Aizen the entire time. And another fun fact is, since Kaname Tosen is blind, he is literally the only person that would be immune to Aizen's Kyokusugetsu, because in order for you to fall victim to a spell, you need to witness Aizen's Zanpakuto release. Obviously, since Kaname is blind, can't see it. Aizen, on the other hand, definitely has more spiritual pressure than Tosen. He's still a more powerful combatant, but still, like, having Tosen on the side of good in the war against Aizen would have been a plus. So that wraps up. I love his dynamic with him and Kamamura, and we learned that Tosen, through just kind of like his backstory, he had a friend that was killed by a Soul Reaper, and I believe it was Tokinata. Ooh, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. That's some of I think that's some of the novel information that we're getting. But he was killed by a Soul Reaper who was a noble, and Tosen really resented the Soul Society and Soul Reapers as a whole, and he did not want to become one. Like, yes, he became a Soul Reaper, but he didn't want to assimilate with the Soul Reapers, if that makes sense. And so when Aizen approached him with his plan to kind of transcend and, I guess take down the Soul King, Tosen's like, yeah, I'll go for it. Like, F the Soul Reapers, right? And I feel like there's a lot of potential with that storyline. I just feel like with Tosen, like, the execution was just poorly done. Because I can understand, especially if he had romantic feelings for this friend of his that was killed, or I don't know if she was like just a long time friend of him that he just really loved. I can imagine, like, yeah, you're gonna have some resentment. And I did like the fact that Tosen wasn't like fake about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I became a captain, all is forgiven. Like, no, he's just like, no, F y'all, like, I don't rock with you guys. I just think he didn't have enough screen time for us to really be sold the vision behind it, because when we get the final showdown between him and Kamamura, it's compelling, but it feels rushed. Like, I feel like we didn't spend enough time with Tosen, and the scenes that we did with them, they were just quick, and he almost, and I hate to say this, but he felt like Aizen's lapdog half the time. Like, Gin never really felt like he was like given orders by Aizen or like kissing ass, right? Tosen just seemed like he was a bootlicker, and it just did not serve his character well. that being said, Tozen had the best drip out of everybody, like out of like Aizen's entire crew, like the drip. So getting back to his fight with Kamamura though, his resurrection transformation, like y'all know I said this at the beginning of the video, like his drip, like that first resurrection, I don't know if it's a resurrection or just like a transformation for him to don his hollow powers. He looked cooler than Ichigo. Y'all can't tell me he didn't look cooler than Ichigo. Like Hollow Tozen, sick. And he completely overpowered Kamamura's Bankai. Not sure why he needed to get that second release, because of just how much more powerful he was than Kamamura and Hisagi actually. But he ends up transforming into that gigantic monstrosity of a resurrection of his, and I think that was Kubo's way of showing us just how depraved he had became in his, I guess, his thirst for justice. And it's just, I guess it's supposed to be like a warning that if you fall down a certain path, like this could be the result of it. That's not to say that the form wasn't powerful, because he definitely had some really cool sound-based Sero abilities, but it just wasn't as intimidating as like Baragon's resurrection, Ukuriara's second, Saguna Atapa, and who am I missing? Stark. I feel like Stark's resurrection looked a bit more menacing than Tozen's. That being said though, it's been years since we've seen the fight, since Tozen's character had kind of came to an end, and Tozen still is one of my favorite characters, just simply based on his design, how cool he looks. Even the voice actor, both Japanese and English, I feel like they really deliver his personality pretty well. That's why I was so happy that he's playable in Bleach Rebirth of Souls, because I feel like even the video games give him love. Oh my gosh, like seriously, you guys play the game, unlock the secret stories, you get a little bit more backstory with Tozen. Seriously, like the game, so cool. And yeah, like you can never make me hate Tozen, and I wanted to kickstart my love for Bleach with one of my favorite characters. And if you guys want to hear more, like I have a plethora of favorite, like I have like at least 15 characters I could do videos on that I absolutely adore, but Tozen had to be number one, just because, again, being a young black kid watching anime, you don't see a lot of black anime characters. And that's not to say like I expect Japanese creators to create black characters, because that's not the audience that they're making it for, right? Anime became popular in the West, but Japanese animes are meant for Japanese consumption, right? So it's not like I'm like, oh, they need to make all the characters black. But when we do get that, there's such a, it's turning into a side tangent, but there's such a love that Kubo puts into his black characters that I feel like I don't see a lot of. And as a Bleach fan, I appreciate it, and I can't thank him enough for just the skillful design of these characters. It's not just Tozen. Haribo looks immaculate. Yoruichi looks immaculate. Yami looks immaculate. Who am I missing? I feel like there's a couple others. Yushiro, I think, is Yoruichi's little brother. For anyone that says that they can't draw black characters, they need to reference Kubo. References work. Learn, study, get it right, because when it's done, it's done. Like to the T. So super long video. Hope you guys like it. KANAME TOSEN, everyone. I know he's not everyone's favorite, but he's mine. Let me know who you guys would like me to talk about next. Like I said, I could probably talk about any of the captains for about 15-20 minutes, no problem. So yeah, hope you guys like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week.